Welcome back to another Speckic adventure. Back in February of this year, Tommy and I went to the UK and visited England and Ireland. Our itinerary included 9 days in England and 5 days in Ireland for a total of 2 weeks in Europe. In the last video, we showed you the many places we visited in central London and the Harry Potter studios. This time, we will be exploring Camden Market, which is north of central London, Mercedes-Benz World, and the London Bus Museum in Weybridge, and the cities of York and Bath. Camden Market can be reached from Piccadilly Circus, which is where our hotel is, by the Underground in about 20 minutes. One quick note about Camden Town Station. It does not have escalators. You will either take the elevator or the stairs to get to the street level, and I highly recommend you taking the elevators that are available. The spiral stairs will make you feel like Sisyphus pushing his boulder. They go on forever and ever and ever until you go a little cross-eyed and all the steps start to look like they're blending in together. If you have a heart condition or is in your 30s trying to save your knees, take the elevator. Once you reach the top, the road to the actual Camden Market is filled with tourist shops. It reminds me a little bit of Grand Street in San Francisco Chinatown. My rec, skip it and keep walking.
That looks good. I'm basic, so I got the classic.
This is a little bit different than the other day because they have like toppings inside.
Oh, that's nice.
Once you see this river canal looking thing, you've reached Camden Market. This is where the real shopping and store browsing begins. It's deceptively large, so large that you kind of get lost trying to find your way back out. All the alleyways kind of look the same, but you're actually in a different alleyway, if you get what I'm trying to say. The food stalls here are kind of whatever, nothing really special. Enough options that you'll be able to find something to eat. I do like the shopping here though. Lots of independent stores and shops with really interesting themes. Tommy and I ended up getting these really cute coasters for our living room, and I got 2 cute sterling silver rings for around $30 each. When researching our trip to the UK, I didn't see many travel blogs mention this place, Mercedes-Benz World.
The Mercedes logo is huge. It's the dream car that money couldn't buy.
It's located about 1 hour outside of central London and is a 2-floor showroom with some really cool historic Mercedes on display.
Yeah.
But that's not all. They also have a driving experience. Yes, we took our track hobby with us to London. Mercedes-Benz World has many different experience packages. I'll leave a link below for you guys to check out. It ranges around 300 USD per person for 1 hour. One tip on booking: make sure when you check out to use your hotel address in London. It's going to ask you for an address upon payment, and it will not go through if you don't put a local address. So we just got back from driving experience, and it was
was
good.
fun.
Yeah,
it was
so
really fun.
30 minutes for the off-roading, and then another 30 minutes for like track driving. And then the track driving part is kind of split between like acceleration and braking, and then like a circuit, a really tiny short circuit, and then the other half is like car control. I've never had any off-roading experience, so I thought it was just kind of cool, like to like kind of drive through water and like rough terrain.
I thought well, with the G-Wagon, I felt it was actually really fine. It didn't really feel like we were going off-roading.
No, it didn't.
But even though like outside, you can tell like the roads were like really like.
You can kind of feel like how deep the water was. Like one part of it we were going through like 2-meter deep water.
Yes.
So very, very deep. And I think he told me the car can handle like 2.5 meters. So it was like almost to the level like of the car's limit.
Yes. Did he take you to this like banking thing? Like it
Oh,
was
yeah,
like
yeah.
almost like full
Yeah, yeah.
like 30 something
Yeah,
degrees
basically
banking.
you like go to one side and
Yeah.
then you try to like cross
Cross
over
the
to the
other
other, and
side.
then you can like look in the rear mirror and you can see
Yeah.
like your entire like wheel was like
lifts up.
2 feet off the
Yeah,
ground.
and
or
then
something like that.
like I was behind another like G-Wagon, and you can see how much the suspension articulates. Like the front was fully compressed, but the back was fully drooped.
I think the fact that like you get to drive cars that you don't normally drive, for example, like the G-Wagon, and in conditions you don't
Yeah.
normally drive, and then got to, it's not just like the track driving, right? It's like part of the entire
Yes.
experience. Like you're at Mercedes-Benz World with like the Mercedes-Benz experience. Look at that. Yeah, so I think it was really well worth it.
I like that. I'm wearing that with a BMW jacket.
There we go. Your receipts in the bag. Thank you.
Across from Mercedes-Benz World, literally like a 5-minute walk, is the London Bus Museum located inside the Brooklands Museum. The Brooklands Museum has an entrance fee, but if you go after 2 p.m., it's half off since the last entry is at 3 p.m. Tommy was mainly interested in checking out the buses, so we skimmed over the many exhibits of the Brooklands Museum. If you're interested in planes or histories of British race cars, you might want to bookmark this place for your next visit. The London Bus Museum does not have a separate entrance fee. They are a separate entity that you can only access once you enter the Brooklyn Museum, but it functions separately. It's completely run by bus enthusiasts and volunteers, and you can really feel that the people who work there have a passion for these older buses. At 3 p.m., we signed up for a ride in a retired route master. Of course, we sat on the top deck. Did you know that Kit Kat was invented in York? Yeah, I didn't either before this trip. I always thought it was a Japanese brand that somehow landed globally and made its way to America. But yeah, it was first created in the 1930s and I guess kickstarted this whole chocolate endeavor in the city of York. York's Chocolate Story is an interactive tour that takes you through the history of how chocolate became so significant in part of York's history, but also allowed you some insight and fun into the chocolate making process. I saw many families take their children on this tour, so it's a really good activity for any age range. There's not much to do in York since it's a pretty small city, but it has a lot of history and the architectural landscape is absolutely a must-see. It totally transports you back in time and is definitely a very charming city. It was also in York that I discovered my beloved Rhoda's Clotted Cream when we stopped by this bakery for morning pastries. You have to believe me when I tell you that this is the best clotted cream. Yes, even better than Fortnum & Mason's version. If you go to England, please try some. Not for your sake, but for mine. I would recommend York Castle Museum if you're a history nut. Inside, they recreated how York would have looked in the late 1800s using all real artifacts from that time period.
Maybe this was a cell, and at night you were locked into there, but you'd actually got some.
Shambles is a tight and cobbled shopping street with some really cute stores, but you've got to make an immediate left turn and go to their market because it was here that I had the best fish and chips. The best.
Fish and chips.
York is a great day trip location coming from central London, and even if you don't plan any particular thing to do here, I think you'll have a very fun time exploring. The city is filled with old buildings that just don't photograph right. You've just got to come here and see it for yourself. Bath is another good day trip option. It's called Bath after the Roman baths, which we did visit. It's basically this kind of large swimming pool that the Romans used to bathe in and also used it for worship. Because it was basically 2,000 years ago, lots of the environment that you're looking at are rocks. That's just what the Romans used when building spaces, since during that time there were limited technology and materials. Don't expect to visually see anything particularly extravagant, but do understand that the ground that you're stepping on and the rooms that you enter are the same exact stones and rooms that people from 2,000 years ago had once preoccupied. You don't have to go very far to visit attractions in Bath. They are literally in the same square. Across from Roman baths is the Bath Abbey, and I don't think my vocabulary is expansive enough to even explain the feelings you get from visually taking this place in. So see it for yourself. Bath is not known for food, but your girls gotta eat. So for breakfast, we visited Sally Lunn's, which they're famous for their buns. The significance of this place is in the building itself, which is 400 years old, and the buns, which they've been serving since the 1800s. Were the buns good? No, not particularly. Kind of bland if you asked me, but I'll give them some slack since it's a 200-year-old recipe. This is definitely a visit once and you're done type of place. Next to the Roman bath is the pump room. Do not ask me about the name. I know it sounds a little weird. They serve afternoon tea, and for sure it ain't no Fortnum and Mason, although at this price point, maybe they should be. I get that it's a historical room, but honestly, it felt a little bland. The food was pretty decent, especially the sandwiches, but unlike Fortnum, it's not all you can eat. Scones and sweet. For dinner, we tried this meat pie place. It was actually really good. There's like mushroom and chicken inside, and then this is peas. I think there's like mint in there. It did take a while to come out, but that also means that it was probably freshly baked, which I appreciate. The appetizer we got was also great. The dessert, however, was overly sweet for me, so not really my thing. So the reason why the Roman baths were built in Bath was because there is a hot springs in the area which the bath is drawing their water from. And for those that are familiar with hot springs, we know that they're known to have some sort of healing elements to them. So since we're in the area, we decided to hit up Therme Bath Spa. We just got out of the so-called hot springs.
More like warm spring.
It's more like a warm swimming pool that they filled with natural hot spring water. You know, if you've done the Japanese hot springs before and you guys are coming here with that expectations, you will be disappointed. And this wraps up our England portion of the Europe 2024 series. Will you be adding any of these activities to your trip planning? Part 3 will focus on Dublin and Northern Ireland. Thanks so much for watching and stay tuned for more Speckic Adventure. Bye!